Good evening, parents. So, terribly sorry about the bell. So we'll start over. Good evening, parents. Your student today is learning to add and subtract mixed fractions. This is where it would start to get confusing if your student does not know how to properly pull out a whole. So we've been practicing before with pulling out wholes. So hopefully they've been practicing and actually pulling it out and not just multiplying the whole to the denominator and adding the numerator, because they need to understand what the whole of a number is. So let's go ahead and dive into adding, and then I'll show you how to subtract. Right now we are not subtracting with regrouping. That will come next. But we are adding and needing to pull out wholes and bring them back. So let me show you what I'm talking about. 7 plus 1 is 8. And 4 plus 2 is 6. Fifths, because you're adding with like denominators, your denominator does not change at all. So we're dealing with 5s, your denominator needs to stay 5. Now, this is the part I'm talking about, that your student needs to know what a whole is to pull out. Because 6, my numerator, is bigger than the 5, my denominator. So we need to pull out a whole, 5/5, to get a new fraction of 6 minus 5 is 1/5. So that's my new fraction. However, I can't leave my whole here out in the cold. I need to add him to my already given wholes. So that becomes 9. And he can't stay by himself. He needs his buddy. And 1/5. I know this sounds confusing. Your student really needs to be able to pull out those wholes, because they need to realize, and eventually they'll be able to do it in their head, because they realize 6 is bigger than 5. So I need to subtract 5 from that 6 to get a 1/5 and add that 1 back over here to the 9. They'll be able to do this in their head, but right now we need to see them pulling it out. I need to make sure they're pulling it out correctly, because sometimes students like to use the numerator as the whole. So they would have given me 6 here. So please have them work it out on paper. Please let them show me each step so that I know they're using the denominator as the whole and pulling it out correctly. Now let's say this was a subtraction problem. So we'll do 7 and 4/5 minus the 1 and 2/5. Subtraction, you just go straight on down, because we're not working with subtraction and regrouping. So 7 minus 1 is 6. 4 minus 2 is 2. And of course, we're working with like denominators, so they do not change at all. So that 5 continues to be a 5. And you get 6 and 2/5 as your answer. As always, if you need me, please email or call. Have a great night.